Well, welcome to another happy hour with Mike and Kim. Tonight's episode is about a celebration of fall, or what Kim calls...
Happy fall, y'all.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, tonight's show's all about a celebration of fall. The cooler weather, at least, we're starting to see a little bit of it here. Summer's still trying to keep on, and that hurricane didn't help.
Oh man!
We hope that y'all made it through the hurricane okay, and if you're not, we're sending our prayers for you that you recover and get back on your feet soon.
Absolutely.
So. Tonight is a celebration of, basically fall's already started, like...
Technically, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still pretty warm out, but...
So we've got 5, I'll call them drinks, or 5 pleasures. How about that? 5 pleasures tonight. Kim's come up with 3 cocktails, and I've come up with 2 whiskeys, because only one of them's a bourbon, that we think are excellent drinks for the fall season. Well, I'll start off first. I am drinking this Bull Run. It's a 15-year. It's, I believe it's Ross and Squibb or MGP juice, but it is a 15-year bourbon finished in Nocino barrels. And Nocino is a walnut liqueur, an Italian walnut liqueur. And for a fall flavor, it is just wonderful. Cheers.
Is that good?
Mm. Now, it's a little bit too spicy and a little too proofy for Kim because it's like 126 proof.
I'll pass.
Woo!
I'll pass.
But it's got the spice going in it, and that Nocino flavor is just wonderful. The other one I recommend for fall drinking is an Amberana. I think Amberana is one of the perfect drinks because you get tired if you drink it all year long, but in the fall and maybe even into the winter, I think it's a great drink because that burst of cinnamon. You know, a lot of people say that it tastes like what's that cinnamon cereal that all the kids like?
Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch is what a lot of people. Now I never got that, but it does have
You're too old for
a
that.
boatload of sweet cinnamon taste to it. So if you like an Amberana. My favorite right now is this Lucky 7. This is the New Yorker. And it's a little proofy, but not too bad. It's 117 proof. Yeah. So these are 2 great drinks for the fall cool weather. And Kim, what did you come up with?
Well, not everybody likes to drink their bourbon straight. So we have tonight 2 old fashions and 1 sour that we're going to have. And they're kind of unique recipes, although I saw different variations of these on several different sites. So we just kind of took one that kind of melded everything together. And we're going to start out. Now this first one, the recipe is for 2 drinks or a really thirsty person.
That would be me.
So we're going to start out with, it says 5 ounces of bourbon. I think I'm going to go with 4 just to kind of gauge how strong this is. And we're using, you want to tell them what we're using?
We're using the Heaven Hill Bottled in Bond because I'm one of those that believe you shouldn't make a good cocktail with a bad whiskey or a bad bourbon. You should use a good bourbon. You don't have to get out your $100 bourbon, but Heaven Hill at anywhere in around $50 at 100 proof, to me, is one of the best mixing bourbons out there. Now, I love it neat too, but I'm one of those people that likes a good bourbon in a good cocktail.
Okay, so we're going to do 4 ounces of the bourbon in a shaker with ice. We're going to add in 1 ounce each of maple syrup, and that's real pure maple syrup. Ooh. And 1 ounce of apple cider. And you can see that, and there's the maple syrup.
Wow.
So 1 ounce each, and we might have to wait a minute for that.
And not pancake syrup.
No.
Go and get you real maple syrup.
The real thing.
Yeah.
And then it calls for 4 to 6 dashes of orange bitters. Let me shake this up.
And I love the orange bitters. I'm not really into putting the whole orange twist in Old Fashioned, so to me the orange bitters is the perfect replacement for that orange twist.
We're not gonna shake it like 12 billion times. Whoops. Oh, finally. Woo, there we go. Now, I didn't bring an ice cube because it just said to strain it, but if you'll hand me one of those glasses. Oops, get my strainer. That helps if you want to strain it, doesn't it?
Oh, I love the color.
Ooh, a little scrapey noise there. Can't hold that still. And let me give you the full.
Oh, you gotta have the cinnamon stick.
Yeah, it says to garnish with a cinnamon stick. So this is our first drink. It is a cider and maple old fashioned.
Right. And we'll put the recipe up on the screen and also in the description. So if you want to recreate it yourself, we totally recommend that you do. Or do I?
No, when I first tasted it, it was really, really strong. But then you begin to taste that maple syrup.
Well, see, you need to prep yourself with some strong bourbon first, and then this is nothing. Of course, it's mostly apple cider what you smell, but it does have an interesting smell to it.
But it only has an ounce for both drinks of the apple cider and the maple syrup. It's actually quite good. I'd like it a little colder. With a big ice cube in the middle of it.
That maple and apple is delicious.
It's not super sweet either.
In fact, it's still a little tangy from the apple cider. Wow.
That's pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah, I would say probably the colder the better if you really shook it up over ice. And then you could actually, something like this, you could actually put, it probably look really stylish in a martini glass.
Yes, it would.
It would, especially with that cinnamon stick being in there. Well, cheers again.
Yeah, it's different.
It is different.
And you can always adjust it if you don't want it so strong. You could put in more apple cider, or you could put in more bourbon.
I'd put in more bourbon and maybe just a hair less maple syrup.
Really?
Because I really like the, for example, our Widow Jane Decadence, which has that bourbon that's finished in maple barrels. You don't get really the sweetness, but you get that hint of maple. So I think maybe for me, adjusting it down 1.5 ounces of bourbon and maybe just a little less of the maple syrup would be perfect for me. But you should try it and then adjust it. And then adjust it, yeah.
Yeah, we made this with 4 ounces of bourbon. So adjust accordingly to your taste.
Oh, so I have 2 ounces here?
Yes.
Oh, well, never mind.
Yes. That's why I said at first it really kind of packs a punch. So you should have in yours 2 ounces of bourbon, 1/2 ounce of maple syrup, 1/2 ounce of apple cider, and the bitters, and then your cinnamon stick.
Yeah, I think
it's very simple.
I think for me, maybe a little less maple syrup, but for you, it's probably perfect. The sweetness and the
I keep
maple.
trying to get the rest out of the glass. Because that maple syrup, even though it's not thick like pancake syrup, it's still thicker than the cider.
Oh yeah, and it's dark too. But and the longer that cinnamon stick stays in there, the more you're gonna pick that up. Now you don't put any cinnamon in, just the stick itself.
Yeah, no cinnamon. Although, if you wanted, you could. Apples, maple syrup, cinnamon.
Couldn't you just grind a little bit of that cinnamon stick before you put it in? Couldn't you, theoretically?
Sure.
There you go.
Sure.
I think that would.
Well, you just wait, dear. I've got something you're gonna like just.
Okay, let's go on to cocktail number 2.
Let me clean up.
Okay, we're back. We're set up for drink number 2 that Kim has come up with. And the bourbon we're using tonight for that is the Jim Beam Black, aged 7 years. You know, it just came out recently. It's usually under $30. It is an excellent bourbon for just about anything. And tonight we're using it. And what is this craft you're calling this?
This is just a whiskey sour. And it uses some of the kind of same ingredients a little bit. But it's very simple. Again, very simple. So we're gonna need.
Yeah, it's been a minute. I hate that term. It's been a minute since I've had a whiskey sour.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah, it's been a long time because I'm a big old-fashioned guy.
Yeah.
Occasionally I'll have a Manhattan, but I've yet to find anyone that makes a good Manhattan. So I've got to come up with my own recipe on that. But old fashions, I love whiskey sour. I guess we'll find out.
And I'm not real fond of sour drinks, so we'll see how this goes. I didn't pre-test this.
Well, the problem in the bars is they use like this sour mix for everything, and it's usually
cheap.
it's horrible. This
is
horrible.
Just super simple. Okay, we're making 2, so it's per drink, 1.5 ounces of bourbon, and we are using the Jim Beam 7.
Okay.
And then it calls for 1 teaspoon of lemon juice, and I think...
Well, there's your sour right there.
Yeah. There we go. Okay, and then it calls for half a teaspoon of sugar, and that's what I have here in this bowl.
You just kind of simplified it?
Yeah, it's just sugar.
Okay.
Just sugar. And it's got a garnish, and the garnish was sitting
just
on it.
Everyday sugar.
Yeah, everyday sugar. Simple. I don't like drinks where I've got to go find 15 different ingredients, because if you don't like it, then what the heck are you going to do with all that stuff you bought? Okay. Get the sugar off that spoon and find the lid here.
Now, we've not tried these ahead of time.
No.
So
hard when we're seeing it.
Yeah. So what we're telling you is actual, just like when we tried bourbon for the first time. We might like it, we might not.
We might not. Oh, this one's gonna be good and cold. Okay. So then, this is that crazy strainer.
Yeah.
So let's see here.
Nice color.
I think the glass was overkill. What do you think?
Yeah, I think we needed to have martini glasses for these drinks.
Okay. And now this one has a garnish.
It does.
And it says to garnish with a slice of orange and a maraschino cherry. That cherry had 2 stems. There we go. Now let me tell you about these cherries, because this is something special here. These cherries were fresh cherries that I put into some Woodford Reserve, and that's probably been over a year ago.
So these cherries are stoked.
So the cherry may be more powerful than the drink, but it should be quite an adventure, don't you think?
I think it will be. I love the aroma. Wow, that's interesting. You already tasted it. Cheater.
I'm anxious.
Cheers.
It's very sour. It's very sour.
It needs to be sweeter.
Yeah, it's very sour.
It's good, but I think it could be better. So, me, I'd probably double the amount of sugar you put in. See what the cherry tastes like.
The cherry will be the best part.
Oh, that's good.
You know what I would do? I'd put a little bit of orange juice in it. I think that would give you a little more flavor of the orange.
Would it still be a whiskey sour if you put orange?
It's still sour though.
Yeah, it needs.
It's way sour. If you like your drink sour, I think it's pretty good. It's just very sour.
Yeah, I think if you doubled the sugar amount, you went. What is that?
It's a half a teaspoon of sugar per drink.
Yeah,
I'm gonna try the cherry. How'd you like the cherry?
It was good. You definitely can tell that it's been sitting in some kind of alcohol for a while because it's got a whole different flavor to it. But it was good.
Now, I used to do cherries and put them in vodka for Christmas. That's better than the vodka cherries.
Oh, I think, well, one thing about it is I've got plenty of bourbon and some bourbons that I don't care to drink, but probably would make excellent bourbon cherries.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, this one I would give maybe a 4 or 5.
Out of, like, 1 out of 5?
No, out of 10.
Oh, okay, out of 10. If you're giving... Yeah, I'm probably with you there. Yeah, 4 or 5.
And like I said, you might want to add something to this. I think it definitely would be really good, very cold, with ice. I wouldn't strain it. I'd serve it with the ice.
This is certainly not the bourbon. It needs more flavor. I think maybe if you added some orange juice or squeeze the garnish into it when you were putting into it.
Yeah.
And I might even suggest taking, when you go to, you were doing your pumped up cherries, but if you were using maraschino cherries, I would get maybe half a teaspoon of that cherry juice that's with it and dump it in there, and that would sweeten it also. You wouldn't have to add any more sugar. Okay, we're back for cocktail number 3. What is our surprise cocktail tonight?
Number 3 is right in there with the season. It's a pumpkin old-fashioned.
Oh, I love pumpkin.
This is good, right?
I love pumpkin. And for our bourbon for this, we decided to go with a wheater, also 100 proof. You might recognize it, the Bardstown Origin, bottled in bond. It's my favorite bottled in bond, as you can probably tell by the height in the bottle. So we're using that tonight for this cocktail.
Okay, let's get started. This is for 1 drink, so I'll be doubling it here. 2 ounces of bourbon, and we are using the Bardstown. We're going to use 1 tablespoon of actual pumpkin.
Is that real pumpkin?
Straight out the can.
Well, that's real enough for this show.
I'm going to make sure we get it all. You could make your own pumpkin, but I think that'd be a waste of time.
Yeah.
And then we're going to use a half a tablespoon per drink of maple syrup.
Oh, the maple syrup comes back in.
And I didn't measure it ahead of time, so we're just going to
wing it.
Wing it. My guess is we want this a little sweet, so we'll be just a little generous.
Pumpkin and maple syrup. I mean, if that ain't fall, nothing ain't fall.
Okay, and then we're going to use per drink a 1/4 of a teaspoon of pumpkin pie mix. Pumpkin pie spice, I should say, which is cinnamon, cloves, nutmeg, and allspice and ginger. There's 5 of them. Okay. And
that is dark.
Yes.
Wow.
It is. Okay, and then we're going to use a 1/4 of a teaspoon per drink of vanilla.
She makes her own vanilla from vanilla beans and either, you use it still for vodka for vanilla, aren't you?
This is vodka and trying to think. I think it was freeze vodka. Freeze vodka that time.
So she makes her own vanilla extract.
I have a batch cooking with, or not cooking, but a batch going with Wheatley.
Wheatley vodka. You know those guys.
And the next time I make one, I'm going to make it with a bourbon.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to...
The frother. You might remember the frother. I've done a few shows with that.
We'll give this just a minute. Okay, I think that's sufficiently mixed up. You just want to make sure you don't have any big globs of either that spice
cinnamon and seedling
or the pumpkin. Or the pumpkin. And then we're going to put a little bit of ice in here.
Now this is probably the riskiest drink of the night because you're putting canned pumpkin spice,
And since with the other two drinks, we both thought they could be colder, I'm just going to serve this with the ice cubes instead of straining it.
Okay.
And garnish with...
What are you garnishing that with?
A piece of orange.
Oh.
Rind.
Okay. Fancy.
Doesn't that look like fall? Whoa! Here, babe. I think you got the short. You want the bigger one?
That definitely is a fall-looking drink.
Okay, don't forget.
Cheers to fall.
Don't forget your garnish.
I'll probably swallow that. You have to call 911.
Well, try not to.
Try not to.
Try
that
not
would be
to.
good, wouldn't it? Try not to.
Okay, you ready?
Cheers.
Here we go. Keep your fingers crossed.
Oh, wow. Mmm. Ding, 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 ding. The winner tonight is the Pumpkin Old Fashioned.
It's rich.
It is rich. That is very interesting.
I think I like a little bit when my ice melts, just a little bit.
Wow. I would have to tell you that probably beats anything I've drank tonight. Even beats the Nocino as far as complexity of taste.
You talk about your bacon spices, but you actually have your bacon spices.
Yeah, we always talk about, oh yeah, you get those baking spices from the oak. No, you get the baking spices from the baking spices.
Right.
They're actually in the drink.
Pumpkin. And you can taste the pumpkin.
You absolutely can.
It's not chunky. It has a little bit of texture in it.
This when it was empty, I'd be going, waiter! I want a refill.
Hurt my ear.
Yeah, this one is the winner. Wow. Pumpkin Old Fashioned. Now, you wouldn't want to drink it all the time because you get tired of it.
No, it's definitely a special occasion kind of drink.
Man,
it's something
that
you want to
is
sip on.
That is good.
If you like drinks like a White Russian, it would be really good to put a little bit of cream in here. I personally don't like milk or dairy in alcohol, but if you liked a dairy drink,
I probably like it because
I think that would be really good. It would really taste like a piece of pumpkin pie.
Yeah. Mmm. I like that.
Well, let me say, I'm working on some other things for some other shows. I'm working on ways that you can use your bourbon that you don't like to make other things that aren't necessarily a drink, because sooner or later you're going to buy a bottle of bourbon that you don't like. And
Old Tub. I'll say it. I'll say it now. And I'm like, send the hate mail to kim@bourbonriders.com.
And that's one of the things. I am working on a recipe with the Old Tub. And
she actually is. I actually gave her the Old Tub and said, if you can use this, fine. If not, bourbon toss.
Because bourbon's expensive and you don't want to throw it away. You might not want to drink it. You might not want to give it away. But we need to find a way to use it, right? And I don't think you'd want to sit all night and drink this. This is a one and done kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's just a special, you need an extra little taste of fall, Thanksgiving.
I would actually have this, this would be a great drink as you're sitting down late in the afternoon waiting for your dinner. It just would put you in the mood for fall and all the festivities that are coming along with it. And I don't necessarily think it's a dessert drink, but I think it's a great drink to have when you come home after a long day or on a Saturday while you're waiting for dinner. It's one of those that I will have again.
And guess what the good news is for you? Since we opened a
pumpkin season.
Can of pumpkin, you get pumpkin
pie. I get
pie.
pumpkin pie. My favorite dessert in the whole world is pumpkin pie. Since I was this small. I was a preemie, so I actually probably was that small.
I don't think you were ever that small.
So We hope you enjoyed this video, and you'll come back again for Happy Hour with Mike and Kim, where it's all about having fun, because none of this is serious, is it?
It's bourbon.
It's bourbon. It's not serious. It's all about having fun with people you love. So, as always, please drink responsibly, never drink and drive. And Kim, thank you for coming up with some great cocktails tonight, and we'll see you next time on Happy Hour with Mike and Kim. Cheers.
Cheers.
And I am drinking this. Why can't I just say what it is without picking it up?